As a physician who has spent over 3 decades working with men over the age of 60, I've had the privilege of helping thousands regain their confidence, vitality, and a sense of wholeness that many believed was lost to time. One of the most overlooked yet critical aspects of aging male health is the role of sexual function, not just in relationships, but in our physical, emotional, and cognitive well-being. Today, I want to address something many feel uncomfortable talking about, yet it has an enormous impact on your long-term health. What happens when you stop masturbating in your later years? Now, before you raise an eyebrow, let me be clear: this is not about crude jokes or taboos. This is medical, this is scientific, and this is deeply human. Masturbation, or self-stimulation, has long been part of male biology. But in older age, when hormonal levels decline and physical activity wanes, many men stop engaging in it altogether, either because they feel ashamed, assume it's no longer needed, or believe it's harmful. But that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, stopping this natural act altogether can have surprising and serious consequences. You see, sexual health in men over 60 is tightly interwoven with other systems: circulation, cognition, mental health, immunity, and prostate health. Ignoring this connection can leave you vulnerable to conditions that might otherwise be preventable. So allow me to walk you through the most important things every older man needs to understand about what happens when you stop masturbating and why, in moderation and without guilt. This habit can be one of the best tools for preserving your quality of life. First, let's talk about the prostate, an organ many older men know all too well due to the problems it causes in aging. What most don't realize is that regular ejaculation plays a crucial role in flushing the prostate. The prostate produces a significant portion of the fluid in your semen. When that fluid isn't expelled, it stagnates, creating an environment that can promote inflammation, congestion, and even infection. Over time, this contributes to prostate enlargement, urinary difficulty, and a need to get up repeatedly at night to urinate. Many of my patients come in complaining about slow urine flow, a weak stream, or the sense of not being able to empty their bladder completely. These symptoms are often rooted in prostate congestion. In some cases, I've seen older men develop urinary retention severe enough to require catheterization, something that could have been prevented with simple, regular prostate drainage through ejaculation. And here's something else I've observed. Over the years, men who ejaculate regularly, even without a partner, often report better urinary comfort, less pelvic pressure, and greater control over their bladder. There's even evidence that regular ejaculation, whether through sex or masturbation, may reduce the long-term risk of prostate cancer by helping rid the gland of potentially harmful compounds. So, when we talk about masturbation in older men, we're not talking about something shameful. We're talking about a legitimate method of prostate care. Second, let's talk about mental sharpness and emotional stability. As we age, the brain becomes more vulnerable to stress, memory lapses, mood swings, and even depression. What many people don't know is that sexual activity stimulates brain chemicals that are essential for mental well-being. Dopamine helps regulate motivation and attention. Oxytocin fosters emotional connection and trust. Serotonin stabilizes mood. Testosterone supports energy, resilience, and libido. During ejaculation, all of these chemicals surge naturally, helping the brain stay agile, focused, and emotionally balanced. When a man stops stimulating his body and stops triggering these natural brain responses, it can lead to a gradual dulling of cognition and emotion. Some men describe it as feeling flat or not themselves anymore. Others report more forgetfulness, emotional detachment, or losing interest in life. While this isn't solely due to sexual inactivity, it plays a more significant role than most realized. In fact, I've seen men who are on the verge of depression rediscover clarity and joy just by reconnecting with their bodies in a healthy, guilt-free way. It's not about chasing fantasy. It's about rekindling your brain's chemistry, the very same pathways that support memory, motivation, and mood regulation. Third, let's explore the relationship between sexual function and sleep quality. Sleep is vital for healing, hormone regulation, and longevity, especially after 60. Yet many men over 60 suffer from insomnia, night wakings, or non-restorative sleep. You might be surprised to know that one of the most powerful natural sleep aids is orgasm. After ejaculation, the body releases prolactin, oxytocin, and endorphins, a trio of chemicals that trigger relaxation, reduce anxiety, and ease the body into deep, restorative sleep. When masturbation is removed from a man's routine, these neurochemical pathways are no longer stimulated. The result? You may lie awake for hours, or drift into shallow sleep that leaves you feeling drained. The next day, in contrast, men who maintain a healthy solo sexual practice often find their sleep improves, not just in duration, but in depth and quality. And as any doctor will tell you, good sleep is the foundation of immunity, cognitive health, cardiovascular stability, and even testosterone production. Which brings us to another essential point: your immune system. Studies have shown that men who ejaculate regularly have higher levels of immunoglobulin, AIGA, an antibody critical to defending your body from bacteria and viruses. That's right, our immune system actually benefits from regular orgasm. It may seem strange, but the connection is real and measurable. When you remove this activity from your life, especially during a time when your immune system naturally weakens with age, you lose a powerful mechanism of defense. I've had patients tell me they catch colds more often, recover more slowly from illness, or feel run down constantly. While this can be due to a variety of causes, sexual inactivities, especially the complete absence of orgasm, may be one of the overlooked contributors. Restoring this simple practice can actually bolster your body's natural defenses. Let's now consider a less obvious, but equally important system, the pelvic floor. These are the muscles that support your bladder, bowel, and sexual organs. During ejaculation, the pelvic floor muscles contract rhythmically. This serves as a kind of natural exercise for your lower core, helping maintain muscle tone, control over urination, and even posture. When men stop engaging in sexual activity entirely, those muscles begin to weaken. The consequences? Incontinence, constipation, pelvic discomfort, and lower back pain. Many men chalk these symptoms up to just getting older, but in reality, they are often preventable. By keeping these muscles active through healthy sexual practices, including masturbation, you keep circulation flowing to the pelvic region, maintain muscle responsiveness, and reduce the risk of embarrassing or debilitating problems like leakage or prolapse. It's exercise, and like any muscle, if you don't use it, you lose it. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, let's talk about self-identity and emotional connection to the body. One of the saddest things I've observed in older men is the feeling that their bodies are no longer theirs. They begin to detach not just from sexuality, but from their sense of masculinity, vitality, and purpose. When you stop touching, exploring, and engaging with your own body, a kind of emotional numbness sets in. This leads to apathy, depression, and isolation. Masturbation is not just about physical pleasure. It is an act of reaffirming your relationship with yourself. It's about recognizing that your body, even at 60, 70, or 80, is still worthy of care, respect, and pleasure. When this connection is severed, men often give up on other healthy habits, too, like exercise, grooming, eating well, and socializing. But when it's restored, even through something as simple as self-pleasure, it can ignite a chain reaction of positive behaviors. Some of the most meaningful stories I've heard from patients involve the rediscovery of their own body, through shame, but through acceptance. One man in his 70s told me he felt alive again after years of believing he had nothing left to offer, not even to himself. That is the power of RECONNECTION. So let me be clear. Masturbation is not a sin, not a sign of weakness, and certainly not something to abandon with age. In fact, for men over 60, it can be a vital part of maintaining physical health, emotional balance, cognitive clarity, immunity, and sleep. It's also a quiet but powerful affirmation that you are still in control of your body and that your body is still capable of giving you something valuable in return. If you've stopped this practice because of guilt, misinformation, or physical discomfort, I encourage you to reconsider, not with shame, but with curiosity and compassion. Of course, if you suffer from medical conditions like severe cardiovascular disease or chronic pelvic pain, always consult your physician first. But for the majority of older men, a gentle return to solo sexual activity can be deeply healing. It's not about chasing youth. It's about honoring the body you have, right now, and giving it what it needs to thrive. Even a few minutes of gentle, intentional self-touch each week can begin to restore your connection to pleasure, improve circulation, and uplift your mood. You are not past your prime. You are simply in a different season, one that can still be rich, joyful, and full of meaning if you allow it. In closing, I want to remind you of this. Your sexuality is not something you outgrow. It's something that evolves. And when nurtured with respect, care, and understanding, it becomes a powerful ally in aging well. So if no one's ever told you this before, let me be the first. You have every right to experience pleasure, connection, and vitality, no matter your age. Take care of your body, stay connected to yourself, and never stop valuing the gift of being alive.